Chapter 13. Max poured rubbing alcohol on the wound, cringing from the sting of it. Anger and determination stifled the hurt. Papa kept anything of importance in a large metal box on the top shelf of his bedroom closet. His baptism record had to be in there. He knew he shouldn't be rummaging, but he needed to settle this once and for all. Max stood on a chair, lifted down the box, and set it on the bed. On top was an oilskin pouch. Papa's work map of the Santa Maria area was the only thing inside. When Papa and Abuelo were given a commission for a new bridge, they spread it out on the kitchen table and pored over it to consider the best spot to build. Small numbered circles on the map indicated the existing Cordova bridges, with a corresponding numbered key in the margins. Max quickly glanced at the first few names and notes Papa had meticulously written. Number 1, Brookstone Bridge, shallow and muddy channel. Number 2, Arroyo Bridge, Market Road access. Number 3, Maldonado's Bridge, dry bed during summer. He noticed little black stars had been inked on the map in various places along the river, probably Abuelo's favorite fishing spots. Max put the map back in the pouch and tossed it on the bed. One by one, he sorted through his school report cards, invoices for bridge supplies, receipts for tools. He found registrations for school events and sports teams. Finally, he found a photo of Papa holding him on the steps of the church. It was hard to tell how old he was because of the long white christening gown he wore, but he wasn't an infant like most babies when they are baptized. Underneath the photo was a gold-trimmed certificate. At the top was the church's name, Our Lady of Sorrows. It certified that Maximiliano Feliciano Esteban Cordova had been baptized by Father Marco Jimenez and that his godparents were Amelia and Rodrigo Soto. But it was dated almost 3 years after Max was born, after his mother had left. And the certificate didn't list Max's birth date, nor his parents' names. It recorded only the date of the baptism. Abuelo had known it wouldn't help Max for the football team. If the league used this date as the birth record, he wouldn't even be old enough to try out. Max dug deeper. Halfway through the box, he found a large unlabeled envelope. He pulled out a piece of brown paper. On it was a stone rubbing. It reminded him of the ones people made after a burial, when family members laid a piece of paper over the gravestone and rubbed with a thick leaded pencil to copy the impression as a keepsake. But this was too small and mostly smudged and unreadable. Sometimes children carved their names in cobblestones on the street, but the outline of the rubbing was too large for that. Max took the paper to the window and held it up to the light. His eyes widened as he was able to spell out a full word, Mañana Land. He pressed the paper against the window pane. With effort, he deciphered a few more letters, but he could not string together another meaningful word. Carefully, he touched the marks. What was Mañana Land? He backed away from the window and sat on the bed. Could the rubbing be from a bridge? Had Papa or Abuelo named a bridge after some place called Mañana Land? He studied the paper. The etching was too close to the surface and not carefully wrought with a chisel, which a stonemason would have used on a bridge. And the shape of the stone wasn't typical of bridge work either. It was oblong, with a beveled edge. Where had he seen that? The stones in La Reina Grande had beveled edges, and the ones in the stairwell had markings that Papa had said were names and messages. If Max could get in there, he could compare this with those. Abuelo had said the key was hidden behind some thorny vines. He tried to picture the clearing, which was mostly rubble and weeds. He didn't remember very many vines. Max stood and paced. Papa had said there was nothing beyond that gate that concerned him. Yet this was important enough for Papa to keep it hidden away, so it must have something to do with his family. He folded the rubbing and slipped it into his pocket. It was still early in the afternoon. He had time to get up the mountain and back before Abuelo returned. Max knew he shouldn't go alone, but that was just Papa being overprotective. He'd be careful.